from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome to the Hammer Down Racing Report. I'm your host, Scott Hammer, along with Ron Miller, who will be popping up momentarily. And
there I am.
Yeah, look at that. And we lost our guest. He popped out of our queue here. I don't see him anymore. So hopefully we'll get Rob back in here. Rob Rehm from Racing for First Responders joining us tonight. And we were talking to him a little bit ago. I'm not sure
if he doesn't come back, we don't have much to talk about, Scott.
Oh, we got stuff to talk about. There's some stuff going on. Not coming to you live. Yeah, here he comes. He's back now. We'll pop Rob up in here, I think. Yeah, there he is.
Am I back? I don't know what happened.
We lost you there for a minute.
I was worried.
I was a little worried too. Rob Rehm joining us again from Racing for First Responders and also competitor in the Vores Compact Touring Series. So we're going to learn more about both of those things as well as Rob himself just a little bit later on. As I mentioned, we're live from the virtual Ron Miller Race Cars studio since everything's virtual these days.
We're virtually in the studio, yeah.
Virtually, yes. From our homes, we're routed through a studio somewhere on the interwebs. I want to thank Fred Lefevre from WSPD this morning, who had me on to help promote this morning show. He's big with first responders and everything they do, so he wanted to help out and have me on his show. So make sure to check him out. You can actually listen to that. It's not too terribly exciting. If you're watching this now, there's probably no reason to listen to it because I just talked about, hey, listen to the show tonight. But anyways, thanks to Fred and WSPD over there for having us on. On tonight's show, other than Rob Rehm, we have an update on the Dittman Motorsports Virtual Car Show Championship. That's been pretty unbelievable how many. There's been like 50,000 people that just this championship deal has reached, and there's been 4,100 votes at least, and it's within a percentage point of each other, and you have just about an hour and a half to vote if you have not yet, between Terry Rushlow and Matthew Chapman. That's on our Hammer Down Racing Report Facebook page, pinned at the top. So
this is about the closest of all the contests we've had, too, Scott.
Yeah, and right now it looks like Rushlow is leading the way with his black stock car over Matthew Chapman's dirt late model. So, but it's close, and things could change. If you've already voted, there's nothing you can do. But if you know some friends or something, maybe you want them to vote, share that post out before. I think about 8:30 tonight is when that wraps up. We'll have the champion, and also we have the consolation match between I gotta scroll down. I remember Dennis Wisman and who else did we have in there? I gotta click now and look.
What?
Kingseed. That's right, Terry Kingseed Jr. So lots of prizes up. All of them are going to win, and we'll tell you more about that a little bit later on in the show tonight. I got to thank Ron Miller Race Cars, 734-856-7223 for.
I want to talk about that too.
Oh, hold on.
I've been having a couple of phone issues. If customers are having trouble getting through on the shop phone, feel free to call my cell phone, and it's 419-279-0100. And I hope we get our phone thing resolved, but sometimes it rings once and goes away, and I don't know what's going on, but feel free to call the cell phone.
I will tell you this, Ron is better at fixing cars than he is at fixing phones, so that's a good thing.
I talk on the phone a lot, though.
Well, you do, and you do that well. And do you have your cell phone there? Is your cell phone?
Yeah, why?
There? Hold it up. Show everybody your cell phone. It's like as old as you.
Oh, it's the flip phone. I love it.
But you know what, Scott? It's 5 years old, and I haven't been able to destroy it yet. Everybody I know that really works in a heavy-duty environment goes through a phone a year. I don't see any reason.
All right. If it works, and that one does work, it's just the landline.
It works for me.
All right. Also, thanks to Dean Henry, Big D's Pizza out there in Clyde, Ohio. Give him a call, 419-547-1444. Still open for business and, doing the whole carry-out deal there. Mention the Hammer Down Race Report. You get to save 10% off any order. Oakshade Raceway also sponsoring us. Hopefully, we'll go racing soon there. Located just north of Waseon, we're the fastest meet to race every Saturday night when there's not a pandemic. Thanks to Racing for First Responders. I don't know if you knew that you were kind of a sponsor. Matt Swander put in that sponsorship.
Matt mentioned that, so I appreciate that, Matt.
Make sure to check them out on Facebook. And like I said, we're going to be learning a lot more about that here in just a minute. Also, brand new sponsor this week, Kester Mowing. Give him a call for all your lawn and landscaping needs. He does mowing, seeding, fertilizing, insect and weed control, and done more things. And I thought all he did was mowing. But,
he does some pretty nice design work, Scott.
Yeah, you see that? He just did my landscaping outside my house yesterday. So
that looks pretty good.
I was impressed too. I had nothing there, and I went to him. I was like, I don't know anything about plants. I don't know what's going to grow. I don't want to deal with too much. I don't want to have to fuss with it every now and then. Maybe once a year is okay. I'm a low maintenance kind of guy, and he came up with that, and he did it all himself. It was and they were done by like lunchtime. So
I need to call him.
Give Steve a call. It might be he might have charged you. You're in Indianapolis, aren't you, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be worth it. I need some yard work done.
All right. Well, give him a call. It's 419-466-3801. That is Kester Mowing. Tell him Hammer Down Racing Report sent you. A couple of racing events from this past weekend. The Indy Racing League. Holy cow. IndyCar was racing iRacing at virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I guess there's a little bit of controversy in all that. I didn't watch any of the race. I just kind of saw some of the stuff afterwards. Scott McLaughlin survived a crazy virtual final lap to win that race. It was the finale in that iRacing series, as a matter of fact. He actually was fifth when they took the white flag, and there was a couple crashes in front of him coming to the checkered flag where he was able to win that. And I guess there was some controversy with Simon Pagenaud taking out Lando Norris. Not really sure what that was all about, but there's some, I don't know if they're hotheads or tempers flaring. I'm sure they've probably settled down by now. I don't think that'll carry over into real world racing, since tearing up.
Yeah,
equipment.
well, in the NASCAR world, a whole lot has carried over into real racing.
Yeah, well, real racing, we haven't gotten back to real racing yet. We'll see. Was it the 17th of Darlington? If that happens, if that carries over. Also, at the very finish there, Santino Ferrucci made a abrupt turn into Oliver Oscar, crashing both cars just before the finish line. That's how Scott McLaughlin ended up winning. In the NASCAR iRacing deal, William Byron got his third virtual race win in the eNASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational Series Finish Line 150. That was at virtual Dover. That virtual series concludes Sunday. Did you hear where they're going to be racing, Ron?
What's that?
Did you hear where they're going to be racing virtually this weekend?
No.
This was kind of cool because it's old school. They're going to do North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Oh, cool.
So it'd be cool if they actually had I know now they use the virtual current generation NASCAR cars, but it'd be cool if they did like a 80s or 90s style
Monte Carlo.
Yeah. The old Thunderbirds.
Yep.
It'd be cool if they did
maybe
something
throw
like
a Dodge or two in there.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to, but I'm just throwing that out there as an idea. They still got time. That's going to be actually a little bit later on Sunday. Most of these other races have been starting at 1 o'clock, but this one's going to start at 3 o'clock on Fox FS1 and the Fox Sports app. And one other note, the virtual Chili Bowl was the grand finale to Fox Sports 1's Wednesday night iRacing action. Dason Pursley was the winner of that. Former guests of the show, Buddy Kofoid and Anton Hernandez, finished 7th and 12th, respectively. I think I saw Hernandez had virtual engine problems. It stalled on him. Yeah. So tough break for him. So let's focus now. Rob Rehm. Again, thanks for taking the time out to join us. Have you gotten to do any racing this year?
We have not. I pulled the car to Pensacola to race at Five Flags, and we got there and they canceled us. It was a NASCAR event, so NASCAR had it was their track that weekend, so it was a long trip. Pull the car down to Pensacola,
Bet.
but we didn't race. We were supposed to race this Saturday at Anderson. It got canceled, so now we're looking forward to May 23rd at Nashville Speedway, the fairgrounds there in Nashville, Tennessee. So we'll see.
All right, well,
Rob, if you would explain to our listeners what it is that you race and a little bit about the cars.
Yeah, so the Vores Compact Touring Series, like it says, are compact cars. They're front wheel drive, 4 cylinders, but don't let that mislead you. These things are little rockets. I
saw them on MAV TV when you guys were at Bristol. Unbelievable.
I love watching our guys race. I'm usually a B feature guy, so I get to watch the A features, and our racing is exciting, and our track times. Hey, there you go, in-car Bristol. Gives me goosebumps, man. I want to go racing. Our track times are right up there with street stocks, so don't let these little cars fool you, man. They are little rockets.
Very good. Looks like Ron must be having some internet trouble along with his phone trouble because he just disappeared. Gotta love the modern technology. Tell us about how you started. Did you start in this series, or how'd you get started in racing?
I started in Vores Compact. I just jumped right into the fire, and I didn't really know what I was getting into. I always wanted to race when I was younger. I was always around racing with my father, but it just wasn't the timing. Just was never right. I had to raise my kids as life went on, but I'd seen Vores race at Anderson, and I thought I want to do that, man. I want to get into that, and I'm glad I didn't know much about it because I probably would have chickened out because they are really fast cars, man. It's a lot of fun. But I'm in my 5th year with the Vores series.
Now, do you work on your car yourself, or do you have a crew that helps you out?
I actually put together. I've got a crew. I'm not much of a mechanic, and I'm not afraid to admit that. So I work with William Walter out of DeGraff, Ohio, which is where Shady Bowl Speedway is, and he is a mechanical genius. So after I destroyed the car behind me here at Toledo, I went and got another car, and William worked on that one over the winter for me and got it all ready. But yeah, I rely on William a lot because it's gotten more serious than I'd ever thought it would. I thought I'd just buy me a race car and have fun with it every now and then. But man, once you get sucked into it, it takes that commitment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you have a cat? Okay. I thought I was hearing things. I wasn't sure what was going on.
He's always wants the limelight.
Do you bring him with you to the track?
I do not. He'd probably flip out.
I would probably think so too.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about your brother and how this Racing for First Responders came about.
Yeah. Okay. So my brother was a firefighter, and December 26th, Christmas Eve, 2016, he was responding to a fire alarm and was involved in an accident on the way to the alarm, and he lost his life. And soon, at that very same day, on Christmas Eve, an organization called Supporting Heroes was there to be with the family and start making arrangements for the funeral. And Supporting Heroes is based out of Louisville, Kentucky. And they totally operate off donations. And the service that they gave my brother it made such an impact on me. I mean, it was so incredible that I wanted to do something to give back. So I started first racing with first responders to see if I could raise a little bit of money, use the racing platform as a way to raise money and donate to supporting heroes. And I have. Vores Compact Series has been very helpful at our banquet each winter. We hold a silent auction, and any money raised is for racing for first responders, and I send that to supporting heroes. At our banquet in 2017, Kenny Schrader donated his fire suit, and we auctioned that off. I think it went for like $700. So that all went to supporting heroes. But the first year we raced at Bristol, 2017, my brother had planned to go with me. And I thought, you know what? You're still going to go with me. I'm going to print out a picture of you and carry it in my car. And ever since that race at Bristol, May 2017, I carry a picture of a fallen first responder in my car every race. And
a different one each time?
A different one each time. Okay. And unfortunately, there's not a shortage.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Just this year in 2020, if you checked online, like Officer Down webpage, 66 police officers have been killed in the line of duty just in this year, 2020. And that ranges from gunshots to auto accidents to what have you. And if you check the FEMA page, there's been 32 firefighters that have died in the line of duty. That's either fire, accident, or what have you. So there's not a shortage. So after I carried my brother's picture at Bristol, that first race in May that we did in 2017, ever since then, I've had a picture of a fallen first responder. And I like to get the blessings from the family because it's a sensitive topic. And all families are very supportive of it. I've had some races where the families come out and they do a little photo session with the picture of their loved one and standing around the race car. So it makes me feel good. It's also been therapy for me. Because my brother and I were very close. He loved racing. So in a way, I feel he's still a part of it. But yeah, I mean, that's a little bit about what we do. So we raise a little bit of money. When I can, I donate my winnings to supporting heroes. But it's turned in more of just raising awareness of what these first responders go through. And you don't realize every day that there's one of them losing their life. And my daughter is a first responder. So it's something that's very close. She's a firefighter, EMT, paramedic, nurse. She's like an overachiever.
Overachiever. Okay.
So yeah, she's a first responder. So it's something that I'm passionate about, and we'll continue to do it. Unfortunately, there'll always be these first responders that lose their life in the line of duty, but they're the first ones that we call when we're in distress. So it's my way of just giving back and showing respect to them and letting the families know that these loved ones are not forgotten about.
Matt Swander says you also do canine heroes.
I do. And that was his idea because it was last year, maybe. I wanted to find we were racing at Anderson Speedway, and I wanted to find a local fallen first responder. And he sent me a message, and there was a dog. I think his name was, you got the cat too.
You guys are cats.
The cat party.
That's Barney.
Anderson Police had a canine that was killed in the line of duty. So I thought, that is great. So I've done 2 canines. I've had their pictures in my car with me. So I thought that was a kind of an interesting way to look at it.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit more about your racing. You said you're mostly a B main kind of guy. I mean, have you gotten a win or 2, or what's the most successful you've been?
I've had a couple second place finishes in some heat races, but these Vores guys are fast, man.
Yeah, tell us more about the Vores series. I mean, I've heard of them. I know they've raced around here, but other than that, I'm not real super familiar with what kind of money you guys racing for. Give us a little bit background on the Vores series.
I think one of the Shady Bowl, when we raced there in June, July, is the payout's like $2,000. So that attracts a lot of drivers. A last summer we had Michael Waltrip race with us. Steve Vore built him a compact car, so he's driving a Toyota Celica. So we get to race with NASCAR guys, man. It's unbelievable.
How did he do, by the way?
He was a B feature guy. I didn't feel so bad. You got a Daytona 500 winner in the B feature, so I felt justified.
Nice.
So those little cars are not as easy as they look to drive, man. I mean, and like Gary Eaton, Terry Eaton, those guys in the Vores series, man, those guys are masters, man. I mean, they got it down, and they're very fast cars. So we race a lot of historical tracks. Winchester Speedway, the High Banks at Winchester, Lucas Oil here in Indianapolis. We race Eldora, which is our only dirt race. I'm not much of a dirt guy, but I love that track. I mean, it's just, there's so much history there. And of course, we race Bristol. So Steve Vore and Dan Redmond do an amazing job putting this series together, and it's one big happy family. Even though when we went to Pensacola, even though we didn't race, we found this little outdoor go-kart track and had our own little racing competition. And so it was still a fun time with all the racing family. So they do a very good job organizing this series. And it's quite a thrill to race on some of these historical short tracks.
It looks like it's a very professionally run program. A lot more than you would think for just four-wheel or front-wheel drive cars.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it is top notch. I mean, they make you feel like a NASCAR driver, you know, and they're very good at treating their drivers right. And it's very organized, and Dan and Steve have earned the respect of all the drivers, and that reciprocates throughout the series.
So you said the next race coming up is the 23rd?
May 23rd, Nashville, Tennessee, the Fairground Speedway. It's a 5/8 mile. Not familiar with it, but that's the next race on the list. So hopefully Nashville will open up and we can do that.
Fingers crossed we get to go racing sometime soon here. Now,
Yeah.
How cool is it racing at Bristol? I mean, running on that, you know, the track you're familiar with it because NASCAR races there. How fast do you actually get going there?
Some of our top guys are running like 100 miles an hour, 105 miles an hour, and those little cars. I mean, you're holding on tight.
Do you even have to hit the brakes going into the corner?
No, you don't. I did my first job. I hit brakes. I mean, we've raced there 3 years. We moved it this year to September because of everything being closed. But it's a fast, smooth track. I mean, it's smooth as glass, and it's very fast. And the thing with those fast half miles, things can also go bad in a hurry. But yeah, Bristol's exciting, man. It's just a fun weekend, man. Hanging out with all the drivers and family, and you get to race on a historical track. I mean, it's very exciting.
What's the coolest track you've gotten to race on?
I would have to say Bristol.
Okay. What about second favorite then?
As far as favorite, my favorite is Lucas Oil Speedway here in Indianapolis.
Okay.
What used to be Raceway Park. And I think it has I have an emotional attachment to it because they used to have Friday and Saturday night racing regularly every weekend. And I used to take my daughters there when they were young. And I always said, once I get you guys raised, I'm going to race on that track one day. And they're like, yeah, whatever, Dad. And Vores made that happen. So I love that track. It just brings back a lot of memories. Plus, it's a big, wide track, so there's a lot of room to move around and not bump into each other.
When I saw that you guys were going to be racing at Bristol, I thought, man, that's got to be a test of cars. We're going to see hubs breaking and wheels coming off. I think at least in the A main that they televised on MAV TV, I only saw one wheel come off, and that was after a spin where it got real heavily loaded.
Yeah, I know 2 years ago, 2018, Mark Mason he had a wheel hub break off, and he hit the wall hard. I mean, it sounded like a bomb going off.
And they got the soft walls there, don't they?
Yeah, they've got
Oh,
the safe barriers.
Yeah.
And he kind of got hurt. He pulled something in his leg. But yeah, with the high banks, I mean, things can break easy. Fortunately, I don't think I'm that fast. I don't have to worry about it.
We got a question here. Is it all 4 cylinders or any 6 cylinders?
There's a couple guys that run 6 cylinders, but for the most part, they're 4 cylinders, and the Hondas are the go-to cars in this series. The Honda VTEC motors. The car I had you see behind me, the bits and pieces, was a Ford Probe. And when I got in the Honda late last season, I was blown away how fast that thing was with the VTEC. So I'm not big on all the specs on it or whatnot. Some of the other guys would know more about it than I would. I just know I like to drive it and it's fun. But
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
I leave the technical stuff to Ron.
Yes, exactly. That's why I got William Walter. But for the most part, most of them were the 4 cylinders.
Rob, what's the downside to running a V6? You'd think that more cylinders would be an advantage.
I
Doesn't work out that way, huh?
You would think so. I think with these Honda motors and these 4-cylinder VTECs, they've got the RPMs are really up there.
Out Lando Norris. I hear me.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
Another question: What size tires and wheels?
The wheels are 14-inch Bassett wheels, and we run Hoosier tires. Depending on the track, they're either 23s or 24 Hoosiers. They're
Do you run the same tires at Eldora? Do they make you run the same tires, or did you run a dirt tire?
We can, but most of us will put on the street tires on the front.
Okay. Matt says you have a standing offer to come to Oakshade. He'll even buy you pit pass.
You guys are racing, I'll be there, man.
All right. Bring your car too. You can take the window out and run with the compacts. Maybe. I'm not sure if you can meet the rule.
Why not?
Yeah, there you go. Well, except for there is never mind.
Did you track dirt or asphalt?
It's dirt. But see, it'd be practice then for Eldora.
Practice for Eldora. Hey, if that's I'll come.
Matt Crafton and who else used to come and test before they started running the trucks at Eldora? They used to come and test, run Oakshade to test for that.
How big's your track? Quarter mile or
3/8.
Okay.
Moderately banked.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'll be there, man.
We don't have the walls around the corners either, so if you screw up, you're not going to hit the wall. You just fly over the hill. I'd say
going over the bank and
yeah.
That's what track is it we go to that's like that? Angola's like that. You go off the track, you're going like down the bank, and which might be better. I don't know.
My granddaughter in her Neon did a Dukes of Hazzard kind of jump and landed in the middle of the pit lane.
Oh, but that was fun.
Yeah.
Did that break
her grandfather, and you're not really tuned to running that far that fast. I got to the car and she was on the button trying to get it started. Wanted to get back on the track.
A real racer, you gotta get back out there, man.
Oh yeah.
Now you said you had an incident at your parts from your car from an incident at Toledo Speedway. What happened and when was that?
That was last summer.
Okay.
Maybe July. We were up at Toledo, and ironically, it was first responders night. So
it was your night.
Yeah, I had 2 TV crews out there. I forget the fireman's name, but you guys had 2 firemen that were killed in a structure fire.
Oh yeah.
Up there, and so I'm like, I'm going to honor them. So I reached out to couple of the news stations, like, oh yeah, that's a great story. So it happened in qualifications where I destroyed the car. It was a racing thing. it just happened. Both cars, my car and the other guy's car, did not survive.
No.
So you were done for the night before?
I was done for the night and done for a few races, and then I stepped into the Honda VTEC, and it's hard to get out of it, because after Toledo, I thought, man, that's it, I'm done. It's that was frustrating. But then somebody's like, hey, I got a car. I'm like, bring it on.
It's amazing how that happens.
One of our listeners asked if you guys have a weight limit, if they scale the cars.
They do scale the cars. I should see this. I don't pay attention. I just get in the car and drive. They say, you're good. Go on. I want to say our maximum weight is 2,300 pounds.
Your minimum.
Our minimum weight. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you just know you're legal, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. They put the sticker on my windshield, says, Rob, you're good to race. I'm like, cool, man. I let the other guys worry about that. They say, Rob, something's not right. Like, all right, whatever.
You guys fix it.
That's the wrong way to look at it, but I'm out there to have fun, man. And yeah, but there is a weight limit. I'd have to ask Patrick Reed exactly, or any of the other drivers would know more of that stuff than I would.
Now, do you foresee yourself doing this for indefinitely into the future here, or do you is there some kind of plan? And I understand you're just doing this for fun. So, I mean, what's your long-term your plan as far as your racing career goes?
I'd like to win a race. I mean, I think
that's a good one.
I think that would be exciting, even a heat race. Yeah, I like all racers, I think you go through the that's it, I'm done. That's it, I'm done. But you keep going back at it. So, I mean, as long as I can afford to keep doing it, I'll keep doing it.
So 2 more years in the Vores Series, then NASCAR, right?
Maybe I'll be like water boy for NASCAR or something.
2 more years, jeez. And you started, like you said, you started off in this series. What was your first race like with these guys? I mean, had you had any kind of time in a car before your first race?
I dabbled in it when I was young. Okay. I had a friend who had a late model, and he would go out to what was then Raceway Park, Lucas Oil, and I would sit in it and tool around the track. But I was like, I don't want to do anything too crazy. I don't want to wreck your late model. So I mean, other than that, no. I raced with a couple races at Anderson, just their front wheel drive class. So when I went into race Vores, that very first race, I had no idea what to expect, and I just stayed low. And I know I lost track how many times I got lapped.
But you had fun, and that's all that matters, right?
That was it. I just went out and ran my own race, and that was the smart thing to do. So if anybody's getting into racing and they don't have a whole lot of experience, just run your own race and don't be too hard on yourself, man. Go out and have fun. As long as you can wheel that car back onto the trailer, you had a good race.
Exactly. One wise racer once told me, "You're not out there racing the other competitors. You're racing the track."
Exactly. And Kenny Wallace said that also.
Maybe that's where he got it from.
He was the speaker at one of our banquets 3-4 years ago, and he said he learned that when he was young racing. He was going after this female driver in front of him, and he's like, I'm not going to let you beat me. I'm going to get you. And he ended up crashing. And he learned then, he said, I learned to race the track. Race the track, and you'll learn. So that's what I've done. I'm not the fastest guy out there, but each year I progress, and that's.
And you're having fun.
What's that?
And you're having fun.
Exactly. I'm having a blast.
That's what it's all about.
I don't have the rule book memorized, but I'm having a blast. Some guys have the rule book memorized. I'm like, really? If you say so, all right.
And the racing for first responders thing, definitely a cool deal. How can, if somebody wanted to, pitch in some money, make a donation, how can they go about doing that?
I would go to the Supporting Heroes page.
Okay.
Because that's where I send all my money. So supportingheroes.com. They're out of Louisville, Kentucky. They completely run on donations. So they pay for their mission is to pay for the funeral expenses for line of duty death first responders. And they put on an unbelievable ceremony. I mean, it's unreal. At my brother's ceremony, they had 2 huge fire snorkels with the ladders and the American flag hanging, the big giant American flag, and the funeral procession drove under it. And I mean, it just gave me chills, even though it was a horrible, sad situation. They made it very fitting and very memorable.
Very cool. I was going to ask you something, and I was playing with things and totally lost my train of thought.
That happens.
Yeah, it does, especially with me here. What's the most memorable moment you've had on the racetrack?
You know, I just say my most memorable would be Winchester Speedway heat race. I took second place.
Ooh,
I almost
that
won.
place is intimidating too.
Very intimidating. It was. We came out of turn 4. Yogi Metz Sr. was in the other car, and I thought I was like, I can't believe I'm going to win this race. And he got me by like a nose, by a lug nut. That was probably my most memorable because he and I are like back and forth the whole race, and that track is really very fast with the high banks.
Now, have you gotten into any altercations with any other drivers? Or are you friends with all of them?
Everybody's friends, and Vores won't tolerate that. Once you get off the track, if you've got an issue, go talk to Dan and talk it out. If there's any fighting, you're gone. If you purposely cause an accident, you're gone. You won't race with Vores anymore. So that's why they've gained so much respect, because everybody's on the same page and same level. There's no fighting. And if there was, I would leave. I'm too old to fight.
Now, I got one last question for you here. How do you choose the first responder that's gonna ride with you for each race?
How do I choose it?
Yeah.
Depending on like the track that we're at, I'll try to find one that is near that area. So like when we were in Toledo last summer, I chose those 2 firefighters at Toledo Fire that were killed in that structure fire. When we were at Anderson, I did the canine. I think his name was Canine Kilo. So I tried to make it geographical to where the track is. And then I'll try to get in touch with the family. Most families I am in touch with through email or text, and they're like, yeah, that's great. Thank you. I don't like to do it without getting their blessing. Some people are funny about it. But I've not had anybody say no yet. But I know it's a private thing. Mm-hmm. I put it on the Facebook page. But yeah, it's typically just trying to find somebody in the area. Like if we race Lucas Oil this year, which I'm not sure if we are.
I didn't see it on the schedule.
Yeah, I don't think we are this year. But here in Indianapolis, there's Indianapolis police officers have been shot in the line of duty, so I usually put one of their pictures in the car.
Now, can people make suggestions to you through the Racing for First Responder Facebook page? Or
yeah, I'll ask that sometimes, and that's how Matt, he sent me the names of those canines that were killed in Anderson, because I couldn't find anybody. So I'll put out a message on my Facebook page. If you have a loved one or a friend you want me to honor and show tribute to, let me know. And I've got a little pouch inside my driver's side door where I keep my water bottle and my picture. And they were with me the whole weekend on the track. And some people get a kick out of it. They think it's really cool. They're like, well, make sure you scare my dad real well when he's in the car. It makes it real,
I was going to ask, does the picture change, from a normal picture, and that when before the race and after the race, it's more of like,
Yeah. was worse than I thought. Yeah.
So who's going for a ride for you at Nashville, your next race? Do you know yet?
I'm gonna research line of duty deaths in Nashville, and I'll find somebody. And then what I do is either contact the local police department or the local fire department and ask, can you put me in touch with this family? And they usually do. So I'll find somebody. I know in Nashville, a matter of fact, I think it was Nashville, 2 winters ago, a police officer drowned trying to help a woman out of her car that drove into a river or something. So there's no shortage, but yeah, I'll research and then reach out to the local law enforcement or fire department and go from there.
Did you have somebody in mind for Anderson? Had that not been canceled this weekend?
I was going to do, since I didn't think we were going to race Lucas Oil this year because we're not racing Fall Brawl and Cabin Fever got canceled. So we had a Indianapolis police officer, a woman, 24 years old. She had a 5-year-old daughter last month, shot and killed responding to a call. Little 5-year-old boy, and she's 24 years old. That's the age of my daughter.
Wow.
So I was going to put her picture in the car with me at Anderson, but we're not going to be racing there. But unfortunately, we'll probably fortunately we'll race, but eventually, and I'll probably put her picture in another car because that was really big news in Indianapolis.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us, and I feel like I've learned a lot. Learned about the Vores series and the Racing for First Responders.
Good. Yeah, thanks for having me. If you want to get more technical stuff on Vores, have one of the other guys on. They could talk numbers. I'm not a number guy.
We wanted to focus more on the Racing for First Responders aspect of things, especially with the climate of the world the way it is right now.
Yeah, so. Good. I enjoy talking about it. I appreciate it.
I would imagine if anybody wants any more information, they could go to the Vores website. That's VOORS Racing Series.
Yeah, go to the Vores webpage. The rules are on there. Go to the Vores Facebook page. Send them a message. Dan or one of them will respond pretty quickly.
Very good.
Yeah, there's the Vores series page.
Yeah, there's Michael Waltrip with his Toyota. That's a fun series. I can't wait to get back racing, man. You start missing all the guys you hang out with.
Yeah, well, when was the last time you raced? Last fall?
Yeah, Winchester, October. Yeah, so
yeah, we're all kind of itching. You have to come out to Sandusky Speedway, the hangover race. Hopefully, unless they sell the track, but hopefully it won't sell. But they do that every January 1st, New Year's Day.
Oh, I've heard about that. I would do that.
You definitely should. That's what Ron always. How many times have you won that, Ron?
A few.
Yes, it's like in the double digits of wins he's had.
The hangover race. Hopefully you weren't hungover.
What's that?
Hopefully you weren't hungover when you won those races.
No. I don't play that game anymore.
Yeah.
Wait, anymore?
I couldn't walk, let alone drive a race car.
All right, Rob. Well, again, we appreciate you coming on. We'll let you go, and good luck when you hit the track down in Nashville, and keep this racing for first responders going.
All right. Well, let him know what happens to our guest, Scott.
Oh, yeah. I guess this is something. Since there hasn't been much racing, we haven't really talked about.
No pressure here, Rob. Yeah. But
usually when we have a guest on. It's not 100%, but I'd say it's probably 80%, 90%.
Yeah.
After they've been on the show, the next race they're in, they usually win.
Thank God.
Yeah. Nashville,
no pressure now. Don't worry.
Nashville may be your race.
Maybe. Well, if so, you're the first ones to know about it.
All right. If it is, we want you back on, and we'll talk about it.
Sounds like a good deal, man.
All right, man. Thanks again for coming on.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Rob Rehm, thank you.
Yeah. Rob Rehm from First Responders, Racing for First Responders, competitor in the Vores Compact Series. Again, appreciate him joining us tonight. Coming up a little bit later, we will have the winner of How Many, and we have a new How Many for this week. Chance to win a Big D's pizza. And right now, how about we jump into some news, because even though there's not much racing going on, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, buddy. And you saw that Ohio started relaxing some of their restrictions today. I think it bodes well for motorsports in general.
Yeah, you're talking about Governor DeWine talking about
relaxing.
I could get my hair cut coming up. Was it the 12th, I think, or something? Maybe it was the 15th. I don't remember.
15th. The 15th.
And restaurants will be opening up.
Yep. Now on the 15th, the restaurants will just be for patio use outdoors. But May 21st, which is just a killer day, is that
your birthday?
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, May 21st, restaurants can open for indoor seating with some restrictions. 6 feet between the tables or Lexan shields. But in Ohio, anyway, things are getting better.
So maybe if racetracks put up Lexan shields in the stands, we can go racing.
Why not?
Well, it's probably a pretty big expense to the track, I'm guessing. I don't know. Although you have enough sideboard there, maybe we can just cut it up and use that, right? Maybe.
Don't mess with my sideboard, Scott.
All right. Well, speaking of racing coming back, there has been some racing. Some tracks have gotten back at it, mostly in the Southwest. But there's another track, and this isn't in my notes, but I'll bring it up just because it's I don't know if they're just doing it. It doesn't sound like it's just controversy kind of thing, but is it Daughtry track or something like that?
Doherty in Indiana.
Yeah. They have a race scheduled this weekend, the 9th, I believe. Is that Saturday? Yeah, that's Saturday. And I was kind of just following this story along, and there could be an update even since I was looking a little bit earlier. But they were going to race with fans with social distancing. I think the race was sold out as far as how many fans they were going to let in. And they had a full field of most of the divisions. I think they only had 18 late models, so they were only letting late models drivers.
Well, and I think those were the pro lates. I don't think they were the open late models. I think it's kind of a restricted late model, modifieds, pro mods, or B mods.
Yeah. I don't have that up anymore, but I guess they sent a letter to, and this is in Indiana where this track is, and they sent a letter to the governor, and they responded back saying that they can't have fans and that they can only do test and tunes, and they said that's not good enough. So I'm not sure that this story is not over with yet, and yeah. We'll just,
there seems to be some back and forth going on with some of the racetracks. And
there is conversation.
I think if a consortium of racetracks got together, motorsports facilities, it doesn't have to be circle tracks, drag race tracks, go-kart tracks, circle tracks, got together and made reasonable proposals, I believe that at least in Ohio, the government might listen.
Well, I know that Chris Mize over there at Sandusky Speedway has been in contact with the health department and their local representatives. And they did get, I know last week we had them on because they were kind of going back and forth trying to get some test and tunes going. And they did get approval, I guess, right before the car was going to hit the track. So they were allowed to do the test and tune with just 10 people or less, no fans. So, I mean, there's that, but I mean, that's good for racers, but that's not real racing coming back yet. And the big crowd events, I'm kind of worried. I'm hoping that you're right with the June prediction that you made, like a month or two ago?
Yeah, a couple months maybe, but
Are you still sticking with that? You think we'll go racing, or and is that with a full?
I'm getting nervous on the first weekend in June, but yeah, I think we will see racing in June. The racetracks are going to have to put up hand sanitizers and do a lot of proactive things. Manage some social distancing, and I won't even get into that, but
Pam said we're 6 feet apart.
Yeah. Limit the number of crew people that can sign in with a car. You don't want 50 people signing in with a car in order to defeat the crowd limits.
Yeah, so, and this seems to be something that's going to be going back and forth. I think, racing with fan or without fans, racing with limited number of fans, and then I guess depending on how the pandemic goes, if there's a big spike in things, then there's a chance that they could cut all that off and say, all
Scott,
right.
I don't see racing without fans as becoming a thing.
Well, I don't think it's
maybe somebody will try it once and say, yeah, that was fun, but I think limiting quantity of fans in the grandstands, keeping them somewhat separate, I think that can work. I-55 in Missouri this weekend has a huge race, car count wise, and got some breaking news on that show too. I don't know if you've got.
Well, how about we go through some news here, then we'll come back to this.
All right,
let's get through this stuff here.
This one's big.
Okay. IndyCar is going to. We mentioned NASCAR's coming back to Darlington. I think it's the 17th, whatever that Sunday is.
Weekend after this. This is Mother's Day weekend, so NASCAR traditionally is off this weekend.
Yeah, that'd be the 17th. So they're coming back, and they got 10 races or a bunch of races within a couple week period, which is crazy. IndyCar has announced that they're going to finally kick off their season June 6th, and that's going to be at Texas Motor Speedway without fans like NASCAR is doing. And the race will be without fans in the stands, I should say. There may be no fans watching it, but I'm guessing there's probably a few because it will be on TV, and I'm guessing that's how they're making some money on the deal.
Right.
NBCSN will be televising that event. Lucas Oil Late Model Series returns to the track Tuesday and Wednesday, May 12th and 13th at Lucas Oil Speedway for a pair of 7,000 to win races with no fans. There will be a free stream available on the Lucas Oil Late Model Series Facebook page. We've already reported that the World of Outlaw Morton Buildings Late Model Series was coming back on May 16th, and that was going to be at Boone Speedway, I believe.
In Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Now it's going to be at Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55. So it's been moved. I think if I put my, if I did my, yeah, that's what it was.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I have that twice in my notes, and that was I'm just making sure here. Yeah, it's definitely going to be there, and it will be in front of limited fans. The World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprints are back. We mentioned this last week, too. They're going to be in action tomorrow night at Knoxville with no spectators. Kyle Larson was invited to compete, and he's indicated that he will. And I also heard that he's got a couple houses in North Carolina that supposedly are for sale. According to a spokesperson for the World of Outlaws, Larson has completed his required sensitivity training after the use of the N-word during an iRacing event a few weeks back. So
yeah, I'm sure his sensitivity training included, Kyle, what the hell were you thinking?
And the World of Outlaws have updated their schedules through the month of June, so you can check out their website for the latest on those schedules. The All-Star Circuit of Champions have canceled or postponed this month's events at I-96, Gas City, and Kokomo. The next race that has not been canceled or postponed yet on the All-Star schedule is Port Royal Speedway in Pennsylvania, coming up on May 23rd.
That
NASCAR
seems to be a popular date on a lot of people's schedules. We'll see how that date plays out.
It's also a few weeks into the future, and this whole situation's been fluid for the past few months. So yeah,
Absolutely.
see how that happens. Or does play out. NASCAR issued an extensive technical bulletin on Friday that addressed a number of things, including safety enhancements following the last lap crash in the Daytona 500 that injured Ryan Newman. As part of the changes, all teams will be required to add 2 roll bars to the interior of the car. NASCAR is also eliminating aero ducts at the super speedways like Daytona, and they've reduced the size of the throttle body for events on the super speedways.
Okay.
Did you hear about this new dirt racing movie?
The one with the lady driver?
That's the one. You have heard about it. I'm impressed, Ron.
Nope, haven't heard it.
Okay, I've only read stuff, but I haven't heard anything. What I've read was pretty positive. But yeah, a movie called Lady Driver. It's now out on Netflix and features Bobby Pierce and Earl Pearson Jr., I guess. And I think Scott Bloomquist cars in it.
I've heard that, like a lot of racing movies, they have radios and spotters. And,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So it's very realistic.
Yeah, right down to the last little detail, Scott.
Man, I always have very low expectations about these, especially after that one with.
Hey, where'd your microphone go?
I'm here. Oh crap! Hello. Can you hear me?
Not much, dude.
I don't know. Let's see. Check. I guess you're gonna have to do the show.
Oh, well, okay. I don't think it's on my end.
It's me. Oh,
You went away.
You do that.
Scott, you're the one with all the notes. Oh no, Scott went away. He's the technical support guy right now. Anyway, we were talking about I-55 Speedway, and since Scott's not here, breaking news, I-55 Speedway this weekend is going to see the return of Matt Miller to dirt late model racing. And I know that was quite a stunner to me. I got to believe it's pretty amazing to most of our listeners. He's going to be driving for a team out of Illinois. I guess it's a pretty well-funded team. Matt's been out of the driver's seat, I believe, for 2 years. So we'll see how that goes.
Now that everybody's left, I'm back. I don't know what the heck happened with my my camera there. I kind of lost all control. I appreciate you winging it, although I didn't hear much of what you said. What was the breaking news?
That Matt Miller is coming back. He'll be at I-55 this weekend.
That's right. I did hear you say that. Steve had mentioned something about that, so that's cool. The only other notes I had was NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series has postponed all events scheduled for June and July, so that's not good.
Yeah, Summer Raceway Park canceled their big NHRA event for the summer.
Yeah, and an undisclosed source, I will not mention any names, has told me that Mansfield Speedway, that they're not running this year. The news gets even more grim. It sounds like they're going to be tearing down the track. So
maybe the grandstands will be for sale if some other racetracks need them.
Could be.
maybe it's like a person dying with a living will and becomes an organ donor.
That is strangely a good analogy. I know you mentioned it. I'll mention it again. The Dittman Motorsports Virtual Car Show. There's about 20 minutes left in that. Again, that championship match was pretty close, at least about an hour ago when I last checked it. That's going to be wrapping up at about 8:30, maybe 8:33, something like that. 23 minutes according to this. And it says, we've pushed up another couple hundred here. It looks like about 2,100 votes for Terry Rushlow and about 2,100 votes for Terry Rushlow and 2,000 votes for Matthew Chapman. So still a close match. It's within.
That's
1%.
A lot of votes, Scott.
Yeah, it's they've been sharing this like crazy. I think both of them want that $200 from Dittman Motorsports.
Well, and second place is no bad deal.
$100 from Ron Miller Race Cars. Winner also will get
$100 credit.
That's what I meant. That's $200 credit at Dittman Motorsports, and also a $50 gift certificate for Big D's Pizza up in over there in Clyde. Third place, the 10 gallons of the Sunoco Racing Fuel, and fourth place, the Pit Pass from Oakshade Raceway. Again, that consolation match for third and fourth between the Rebel Dennis Wisman and
some swag from Vintage American Race Cars.
Yeah, that was on my list here too. Yeah, and Larry Kingsley Jr. in that battle for that final third and fourth positions there. I haven't looked at that one.
And by the way, welcome back, John Hart, Jeff Furry. Jeff says he has no sound.
Tell him to turn up the volume. Can anybody else hear us? My little green dots are lighting up, and I can hear you through my headphones. So
yeah.
And you're like super echoey, but whatever. It's the new world. This is the way things are from now on.
Scott. No, I'm echoey. You're not anymore.
Oh, yeah, you just sound echoey. I can't hear myself other than I can't even hear myself talk. But anyways, next week on the show, we're going to have Craig Dittman in the virtual award ceremony. So we'll have to get with Dennis Wisman, Larry Kingsley Jr., Terry Rushlow, and Matthew Chapman, or at least a representative from each of those teams to come on and accept their virtual prizes. They're real prizes, actually, but it's a virtual award show. You'll get them eventually. We'll figure out how to arrange all that. But that's next week on the show. We were going to have Gary Lindahl, the legendary announcer, voice of Flat Rock Speedway and Toledo Speedway. And man, I so wanted to talk to him because of all the stories he could tell.
If somebody lives near Gary Lindahl, get with him and get him up to speed on our program, and Scott can certainly walk you through it.
Somebody with a smartphone or a computer, a laptop with a
microphone
and a camera. Actually, you don't even need a camera. We could probably do it without. We could probably, if he doesn't want to be on camera, that's cool. But yeah, I was talking to him earlier today, trying to walk him through it. He's like, "Man, can I just call in?" I was like, "Hey, if we were in the studio, we could do that, but I don't have a phone system here to route it through this. So unfortunately, we can't do that." Yeah. So like Ron said, if somebody can help out Gary with some technical issues there, it's pretty easy to get on.
If somebody's got a spare 6-year-old, I'm sure that they can figure it out.
You said 6-year-old, right?
I said 6-year-old.
Okay, probably even a 3-year-old, but I'm not going to go there. So last week's How Many, picking up where we left off here, and we're about done here. But last week's How Many was the number on the winning car at Dover, and that number was 24. And Chris Mize was our winner, being on the show. He picked 24. And our online winner was John Young, who picked 24.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pizzas. And I'm getting a phone call. Probably they'll tell you that my camera wasn't working, which I knew. I just couldn't do anything about it. This week's John wins Big D's large pizza. If you want to play this week's How Many and a chance to win a Big D's pizza, put your guess in our Facebook Live comments, and we'll have to specify for the podcast purpose, if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, there's going to be 2 Facebook Live videos this week because of some technical difficulties late after the first one. So look for the Take 2 Facebook video and put your guess in the Facebook comments there. This week's How Many And this one deals with tomorrow night, as a matter of fact. So you have until maybe, we'll say 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll cut it off, which would be Friday if you're listening to us tomorrow, which would be Friday. Because if you're listening to us tomorrow and it's Friday, and then the tomorrow would mean Saturday to you, it's a whole temporal thing. The time-space continuum is blowing my mind. Friday at 4 o'clock is the cutoff. We'll say that. And this week's how many World of Outlaw sprints will be at Iowa tomorrow night? How many will be checked in for competition?
Ooh, boy.
This information may already be out there. I don't know. I didn't do any legwork on this to see. I don't even know what I have no idea how many is going to be there. But what do you got, Ron, or Kathy, if Kathy's there too?
57.
57. Okay. Is Kathy still there?
Hey, Scott, why does my camera have a little sign that says my mic is muted?
I don't know.
Would that be our echo?
No, because if I mute your mic, now talk. Say something. I see your mouth moving, but nothing's happening. No,
Right.
not on my end. That's me muting you. I don't know.
All right, your guess.
Did Kathy guess?
No, actually, she's out ordering pizza.
Oh,
And
right.
there's no
Big
Big D's
D's?
Pizza near us,
Oh.
so she's calling Marco's.
All right, I'll be over in a few minutes then.
All right.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go 56 then. Just it's either gonna be one less or one more than your guess. So we'll see. We got guesses that range anywhere from 75, 85,
Wow.
down to Robin's guessed 43. So, and Dean says it's invite only. So I don't know how many invites there were. So if you know how many invites there were, then you probably have a leg up. So there you go. And Dean didn't put in a guess, which surprises me, especially if he knows his invite. Do you know how many people were invited, Dean? Let's see your number. So there's that. So there you go. Upcoming races, none within the next, at least around here, for the next few weeks. Again, I think the earliest in our local area is Oakshade coming up on May 23rd. And again, this is still tentative.
And keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one. I'd like to thank our associate producer, Dave Kemmer, and our official field correspondent, Matt Swander. I don't give them enough thanks. And again, next week, we will have Craig Dittman and our Dittman Motorsports Virtual Car Show Final Four folks on. They don't know that yet, but I'm going to reach out to them. Hopefully we'll have somebody on so they can have our little virtual car show awards presentation. We appreciate everybody that played. This was the first time we did this. It was just something to do because there wasn't much racing going on. We kind of dragged this out over a month's period, and it's been pretty huge. So it'll be interesting to see if we have to do this again next year. Hopefully not. Hopefully it becomes a real car show next year, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wouldn't that be nice? Dave Kemmer. I know, we keep trying. And then if we can figure out or get Gary Lindahl some technical help, we'll try and get him on the show next week as well. Again, the legendary announcer there at Flat Rock and Toledo Speedway. So there you go. Thanks for tuning in this week. Again, thanks to all of our sponsors, Ron Miller Race Cars, Big D's Pizza, Oakshade Raceway, Racing for First Responders, Rob Rehm from that joining us tonight. Appreciate him coming on. And Kessler Mowing also making his debut as a sponsor on the show. And I'm just looking here. It looks like 8:32.
And our faithful listeners got thanked twice tonight for tuning in.
Yes, 2 shows for the price of 1. Again, just a few minutes left, about 13 minutes here in this championship match, which is coming down to the wire. Terry Rushlow with a 1% advantage. Tons of people have voted. Again, you can only vote once. So if you have a Facebook profile, some Facebook friends that haven't voted, shoot them over there if there's a car you're pulling for to win. Because right now, Terry Rushlow has that slight advantage with just a few minutes left. And again, we'll award that $200 credit for Dittman Motorsports next week on the show. So thanks for tuning in. If you want to be a sponsor, contact me. You can do that at scotthammer@iheartmedia.com, through Facebook, whatever is easiest for you. So I'm not really sure what happened with my camera. It seems to be working fine now. So hopefully we'll
Very good.
next week, and hopefully we can get Gary figured out. That'd be awesome. So
Yeah.
And thank you, Ron, for doing a great job when I left you hanging, although I only saw part of it, but I'm going to have to.
That was a little awkward, Scott. You're sitting there with all the notes, and well, it's all yours, Ron. Yeah, well, okay.
Hey, maybe we learn from this and we move forward, and I send you a copy of my notes.
That would work.
Yeah, we'll have to do that next week. Shall we get out of here?
It's time for pizza.
All right, go eat your pizza. We'll see you next week. 7 o'clock, Hammer Down Racing Report right here on Facebook Live. And you can always listen to us anytime on iHeartRadio or iTunes or Google or whatever. We're out. See you, Ron. Bye.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.